Hi guys, welcome back to Under the Influence, a show where we dig deeper with some of the internet personalities that you know and love and that influence you the most, whether you know it or not. I'm here with a very special co-host today that you don't normally see on camera, our co-founder and executive producer, Emmy Rempel. We wanted to bring her on today because we are here with two other co-founders, which we will get to in a minute. But before we jump into today's episode, Emmy is going to tell you guys a little bit more about what we've been up to.
Yeah, so our company, Under the Influence, it's grown pretty quickly. We started with one long-form show. Now we have about 7. We have Under the Influence. We have Music Notes, hosted by me, Popcast, hosted by Riley, Hot Girl Talks, hosted by Carly, Jazz, and Hallie from TikTok. I Love Your Fit with Ray Hersey. We have Yeah But Who Cares, hosted by Bree Springs and Susanna Allen. And then we have Okay Stop Whining with Carly Weinstein and her mom. So yeah, we've been growing a lot. We have a lot of shows and a lot of things to come.
Yeah, that was a mouthful.
I know.
Big growing list. It's like we're adding a show a week.
I know. It's like quick growth, but like in a condensed period of time.
Yeah, in a fast period of time. And you can find the handles for all of those accounts in the description of this episode, whether you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you follow along so you do not miss one morsel of content that we put out. We put out a lot of content. But without further ado, I want to introduce everyone to Peter Sweeney and Matt McGeagh. They are the co-founders of ALAO Invest. It's ALAO. It stands for Act Like an Owner. And they're going to tell you guys a little bit more about what ALAO Invest is so that I don't butcher it.
Well, thank you for having us. Unfortunately, we're not a massive internet personality, but we're getting there.
As much as Peter would like to be.
Eventually.
No, Peter's working on his TikTok game.
We're getting there. But Matt, you want to tell them a little bit about what ALAO is?
Yeah, so I'm from Los Angeles originally, met Peter at Penn, then went to Goldman, did healthcare investment banking for 2.5 years. And it was there that, we started trying to get out of the corporate cog and, enter the entrepreneurial cycle a little bit. We saw a couple of themes that we thought were really interesting, the boom of the creator economy, the democratization of capital generally, and then, more and more founders wanting to have their communities on their cap table. And that kind of led us to, create ALAO, which is a private investing platform that lets anyone invest, accredited or non-accredited. We're regulated by FINRA. We're an accredited funding portal. And yeah, anyone can invest as little as $100. We really just wanted to make private investing opportunities open for everyone, whether that's in companies, whether that's in music, whether that's in movies, whether that's in sports teams. That's kind of the broader vision that we have for ALAO. And, we're looking forward to see where it goes.
And what we're excited about today is we connect each company with a relevant influencer or celebrity. And we think across culture, all trends are sort of populated by pop culture, whether that's influencers, celebrities, kind of leading the charge. And we think by finding startups that have a great product, a community already buying that product, and connecting them with sort of the marketing engine that is Instagram, TikTok, and people who have mastered that field, it only increases the growth of the company and hopefully increases the chances of success.
Right. The thing that made me kind of really understand what ALAO is when you talk about celebrities and their investments. So, I can't even think of an example off my head. Like
Kim Kardashian.
Her private equity exactly.
Fund. While we were at Goldman, we saw a lot of these companies we were taking public had mega celebrities on their cap table from earlier fundraising rounds, whether it's Jay-Z and Robinhood, Serena Williams is on the board of Bumble. We thought with Instagram and TikTok, there's a whole new brand of celebrity that doesn't have the millions of dollars that Kim Kardashian or Jay-Z does to start their own fund. But they've got an incredibly powerful marketing engine, distribution sort of built in, and all these consumer companies need that distribution because right now with the Apple privacy laws, the customer acquisition cost is increasing like crazy across paid social. So by tapping an influencer to sort of become a brand ambassador, you're able to tap into their audience. And then by including your community onto the cap table, you have thousands of people who now have pride and ownership of the product. They're talking about it to their friends. They walk into, Erewhon or Whole Foods or whatever, and they say, oh, I'm going to buy this. I'm an owner. You guys should try it. And so we think that it really increases the adoption for some of these young consumer companies and hopefully really accelerates the success they're already having.
Yeah, and while it's great to have like Beyonce, Serena Williams, or Jay-Z like come into your IPO so you can put it on your press release. It's, not as impactful when you're at an IPO stage already. You've already built the company to, that size where you're like willing to, take it public. And if we're moving that up in, the fundraising journey to do it at the seed Series A, where you can actually have an impact on a company's growth and top line, we think that's where the biggest hidden opportunity is for companies to take advantage of.
Right. I think another plus side for influencers is, and something that we see on our side of the business, is these deals are fleeting, and, they're not thinking to invest when they're making $10K off a brand deal.
Yeah.
So, investing in deals where they can see long-term reward, I think is a really beneficial thing for everyone, but for people in these influencing roles where their job could be very fleeting or their success could be very fleeting.
And especially like you were saying, like how if you say, correct me if I'm wrong, but an influencer could say, I invest in this, you should too. There's difference between how influencers, I feel like they have a following versus fans, which like you're saying a Beyonce, someone like that might not want to do what Beyonce does because they can't relate to it. Yeah. So when you bring in these influencers, people say, oh, they do that, I can do that. Like it's almost a more personal impact than it would say be Beyonce or Jay-Z.
And a lot of these early stage consumer companies, like they're selling direct to consumer. They've got their supply chain worked out to do like 10 million in sales, but if Beyonce tweets like, "Oh, you should buy this," like all of a sudden they have to do 50 million in sales, and like sometimes it breaks the company a bit. And at the end of the day, the product's what matters. They have to have happy customers who return to buy the product again. And whether it's Beyonce on the cap table or Matt McGeagh on the cap table, if the product sucks, the company's failing. So we look for companies that have a great product but need a little extra push on the marketing side. And like you were saying with the sort of fleetingness of paid posts, I think Kobe Bryant was one of the champions of like celebrity investing. And he put it where he's like, listen, I'm signing massive endorsement deals, but it's all cash. Someday, no matter what, that cash runs out. And if I can put some of that cash into investments that hopefully grow alongside me, I'm creating generational wealth. I'm not just paying bills. Like this is life-changing wealth, and we want to be able to help make that possible for everybody.
Was it Michael Jordan? Was he the one who like took the cash deal instead of equity in Nike?
It was Magic Johnson.
Oh, okay, yeah. And it's like now worth like $1 billion.
That hurts.
Magic Johnson.
But yeah, like let the record show that
hurts.
That happened. So, my mom's calling me. Okay, so I want to take it back a little bit to when I met you two. You mentioned you guys went to the University of Pennsylvania. I went to school with them. That's where I met Peter and Matt. But technically, Peter and I met when we were babies. Crib to club is what we used to say in college. So our dads were together in their Wharton class. They were getting their MBAs. They were married.
You're gonna blow us up like that both of our parents also went to Penn.
You know,
wonder how you got it.
Guys, I didn't go to Penn. So
but it's a part of our narrative.
Of course.
But kind of also scary that our parents were married with kids at our age, you know, getting their MBAs. But yeah, so we were born while our dads were in school at Wharton. We have a cute picture. Pop it up on the screen now. And then we reunited 19 years later as freshmen at Penn, became instant besties, and, you know, remain close friends to this day. Our lives are very intertwined. Matt is a part of our friend group. But something I think that you and I always connected about when it came to like academics at Penn was that we both struggled with learning disabilities growing up. You had dyslexia. I have dyslexia. I have ADHD. Do you have ADHD?
Who knows?
I
got
something. Yeah, you got restless leg syndrome. So, but, you know, that was definitely something I think we both kind of connected over at such an academic school. Like, learning was something that was always a little more challenging for us. I think we also both were kind of troublemakers growing up. We definitely prescribed to the work smarter, not harder type of work ethic, I would say, in college. But when we got out of school, I would say we both were grinding. Like, we were both working a lot, like very, very hard. And now we're both founding our own companies, building our own companies. And I just think it's really interesting. Someone said to me once, like when I was really struggling in school, like, I think you're going to really like working. Yeah. And I do. I love working. I think a big part of it is that I get to do what I love every day. But I think like it's just an interesting point to now like see that we are both working these jobs, like grinding all day, but like never really felt like school was like what came easy to us. Yeah. And I feel like for younger people watching this, I think it's a good testament to kind of sticking it out.
Yeah. And I think for me, at least, I always viewed school as like important, but like life lessons aren't learned in the classroom. Mm-hmm. And I was always excited to, spend time outside of the classroom. And I was lucky enough to work hard enough in high school to get into Penn. Penn is obviously a great credential to have on the resume, but I always kind of viewed it as such. To the point that part of me is like, I didn't take nearly enough advantage of, the academic prowess that Penn had to offer. But I always viewed Penn as a credential on the resume to get me into really exciting real life.
Look at the relationships you made.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I take out of college. That's my biggest.
Yeah, it's a networking tool at the very least.
Yeah,
totally. And I think with learning disabilities and dyslexia and everything else, like you recognize you're probably not going to be the smartest in the room. You're not going to excel by like reading and then reciting exactly what you read. So you have to find other strengths, and one of them is meeting smart people.
Having awesome people skills to make cool friends that are smart.
I like to think that's a good skill.
It is.
That's what I tell myself.
100%.
Yeah, I think like that kind of gets into like the school part, not working hard in school, working hard in your job. And like one thing you find like there as like founding your own company is like this idea of like extrinsic versus intrinsic motivation. Like in school, like you're doing homework to get a good grade. Like that's extrinsic motivation to, get your teacher to like you, get your teacher to give you the A. Even when you're doing a job that's not like directly linked to your success, it's the same thing. You want your boss to say like, good job, give you a pat on the back. But I feel like when you're starting your own company, it's like more like intrinsically motivated, where like you're doing this almost like for yourself.
Yeah.
And like, it's more fulfilling in that way.
Yeah. Like my eyes pop open at 7 a.m. and I'm like,
you're up early.
Let's go. Like, time to work. Well, I mean, you're up early.
I mean, yeah, but I have to be up early.
It's a little different.
And they don't pop open my eyes. I'm very much not good at waking
just
up.
doesn't sleep though.
No.
And that's not to say that Peter and I didn't work hard at school. We worked very hard to get into Penn. We worked very hard while at Penn, and we did very well at Penn. But
I did just well enough.
Just well enough. Cum laude. It's exactly just well enough. But yeah, I think that's like a great way to put it. It's like when you're working for yourself, the only person you're screwing over if you don't work your hardest is yourself.
Yeah.
Like going through the motions at a job is like fairly easy.
I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but oftentimes like you can work your job and run through the motions and still
you can
show up the next day, and it's fine.
We were both at Goldman before doing this, and like Goldman's a hard job. But you wake up every day, you've got somebody telling you exactly what you need to do. If you do that, you had a successful day.
Yeah.
When you're starting a company, like you burn the boats. Like this is you now. You have 1,000 problems to solve. You don't know which ones you have to solve first, but like we got to get moving, because this is it's not like, not only is it extrinsic motivation to do well when you're at a job. Like I knew if I'd like was late on something at Goldman, I had like someone give me a stern talking to.
Yeah.
But I probably wasn't going to get fired.
Right.
Where now we're like, we have to pay rent.
Yeah.
literally, it's like you're only screwing yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess with all that being said, we all took a leap of faith. Emmy's the only one still in her full-time job at this table. But, as co-founders across the board sitting here, what has been the biggest challenge, you would say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of what Peter just alluded to, where it's like you go from having everything so structured to everything being just unstructured. And it's like the stress levels from having too much to do when you're at like your old job to having, too much. You have a lot to do still, but it's like not knowing what to do at first. It's like, I have 15 different things that I need to tackle. What order do I tackle these in? Because like they all kind of like interconnect with each other, and like you do one thing and then you do another thing, you're like, I gotta go back and do that thing again, because it's just learning how to you best work and what the things that you want to tackle first are.
Right.
And for me too, like I've always wanted to be like an entrepreneur or a founder, but when I was like working at Goldman and out, and people are like, what do you do? Like you get to say you're at Goldman. It's a pretty quick conversation. Like they immediately understand what you do.
Okay.
And
got it.
And it was weird. Like at first, like, what do you do? And just like, I'm starting this company. It's like a longer conversation.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of you that's like, not, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but like anxious. You want everybody to think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Did you think people looked at it negatively?
I don't think so.
I mean, you guys explain it very well, so I would hope people are like, wow.
But I forget who said it. I think it's like, it's either Lil Wayne or Chance the Rapper.
Okay.
But it's like,
where are we going with this?
If you want it, you got to own it.
Okay. Yeah.
For like the first month or so after leaving Goldman, I was like a little more sheepish about like, oh, what do you do? It's like, oh, I'm starting this thing. Like, we're still figuring it out. But like, if you want it, like, you got to be telling people like you started it and talk about it like it's fucking Google.
Yes,
sure.
Yes, I love that.
I do like that.
And so it takes a while to get like comfortable enough in your own skin and like enough conviction. Like, we had enough conviction to leave our full-time job, which obviously was plenty of conviction. But like telling people, like the friends of friends and like people just at bars, like, oh, I'm starting a company and this is what it does, and here's the app, and you have to download it. And if you've got $100 and you want to invest in the plug, it'd be great if you do it right now.
Hey, I'll watch. I'll show you how. Yeah, that's
so
like
that was like a weird, like an unexpected adjustment for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say the same thing. It's like, because also sometimes you don't know like what to say first when you're like describing.
Like, I do this and it does that, and people are like, what?
I think it's also hard when it's like an industry that so few people really truly understand.
Totally.
So I think for us, like,
and some people discount. Like, I think it's the future, but some people are like, oh, influencer, like what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I think you guys have like the word investing in your like
that's helpful. Yeah,
in your company. We are literally just like a content studio with influencers, and so I think it's easy for people to scoff and be like, ugh.
Even my parents are like, can you explain it again? I'm
like,
no. I'm like, I can't.
You'll be at like a dinner party or like at a bar, and there's one person who like, you know, they have this conversation, and you're like, oh yeah, this is what I do, and they're like, oh, that's great, like super cool that you took that leap. And then there's the other person that's like double clicking into every word you say. You're like, damn,
right? They're doubling down.
I need to strap in, and I need to put down my drink.
Yeah,
I need to start fighting these questions.
Yeah, like, you want to go?
Yeah, fast.
We're ready. Yeah, it's so true. Like, I think the sheepish part too. Like, you're like, yeah, I work for myself. I don't know. Yeah. This is how it's going right now.
Yeah, but oh well.
And on the content side, like, I had no idea how hard it was to produce a mass level of content.
Yeah.
Like, I love Instagram. I love TikTok. I'm a huge influencer fan. But even I thought the creator economy is like really going. So I obviously still do. But like, but when I was at Goldman, before we had the idea for ALAO, I was like, influencers in some capacity are the future. But still, I was like, oh, but they're like posting on Instagram, like blah, blah, blah. But now I'm like trying to post on TikTok all the time. It's like 2 hours of my day or scripting TikToks. And
like, people really do discredit the industry because people, they work for themselves, which is a hard job in itself. You have to hold yourself accountable. And there is contracts involved. There is planning involved. There is like production involved. And there's a lot that goes into it. So like you said,
yeah, that was like, I think the first big lesson we learned when starting the show. We were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
We're like, let's make 7 more. Yeah. It's so fun.
We were just like, yeah, and now we're making 7 more shows. But I think another interesting thing is like the self-motivation aspect. Like, we're now beholden to like a roster of talent, and we like, they're essentially clients that we want to, hit certain goals for. And it gets easier and easier over time to forget about your personal goals because you can let those slide.
Yeah.
So I think that's been a really big challenge for us, is making sure that like we're not putting all our eggs in the basket of others, and we're making sure we keep some eggs for ourselves. And like you said, it's like making a TikTok can take like suddenly an hour is gone, and you're like, that is.
And I've made like 3 words across the screen, and I've clicked one thing, and I'm like, oh my god,
exactly. And like, we know what it takes to grow. Like, people who we've had on the show, they say
consistency is key.
Consistency is key. I posted 15 times a day when I was growing, and at first I was like, oh wow, 15 times a day. Now I'm like 15 times a day. What? Like that takes all day to do that, if not more.
And there's no cheat code. Like, if you want to grow, you're posting multiple times.
Yeah.
And you're not missing a day, and you're going, and you're replying to every comment, and you're like, it's a pain.
Exactly. Because if you're not doing that growth organically, you're not building anything worth anything.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of commitment and consistency. Okay, so we kind of already broke down what ALAO is. Is there anything you guys want to circle back on before we kind of move on?
I think one piece to hit is right now, like Matt said, while at Goldman, we were seeing all these trends, one of which was Jay-Z investing, one of which was just the broad movement towards the ownership economy, whether it's like crypto, DAOs, like people want to own the culture that they interact with on a day-to-day basis, and they want the chance to profit off of that. And, you know, the richest of the rich have been doing this for years. They own sports teams, they own movies, they own companies, obviously. And we wanted to help make that possible for like the everyday person while leveraging existing regulations and familiar securities with equity. And we started with startups because we think, one, it's a lot of fun. Like a company growing 500% year over year, doing $7 million in sales. You can like meet the founder. You feel like you're a part of that growth. And when you buy the product, you're like, oh, pat myself on the back. And we thought by tapping the creator economy and influencers, nobody around was doing that or still is doing that. And so we thought that would get us great deal flow for companies, help solidify us as like this private investing platform for the social media generation, a generation that has traditionally been like left behind. Robinhood did it for the public markets, but nobody's really done it for the private markets. But what we're really excited about is like, if you can just simply invest in culture, whether it's startups, whether it's music, whether it's movies, TV shows, football teams, like it's a really exciting world. If you in 10, 15 years, you like own a small piece of every single thing you interact with on a day-to-day basis. And so that's part of our like
there's this big thing in the, you know, corporate world that every company tries to kind of achieve is this like flywheel where like giving your product to someone then, you know, creates success for the next round that you're doing kind of thing. And that's the general idea. And like when we talk about, you know, investing in culture, we kind of break them out into live and dead assets, where dead assets are stuff like art and, you know, trading cards and like collectibles and stuff like that, where live assets are like companies, music, TV, sports teams, but which by virtue of you like owning them, their value increases because you're interacting with them more and you're becoming, you know, a more involved and stickier consumer of whatever, you know, they're providing.
Yeah. Like Masterworks is a great company. You can buy fractional pieces of art, but you can't hang the Picasso in your house. And just because you own a small piece of that art doesn't make the art any more valuable. It likely will appreciate in value because art generally appreciates in value. But if you buy a small piece of the plug and then you go to the corner store and you buy a bunch of plugs and you tell your family like, oh, I'm an owner, you guys should check it out. And then all of a sudden the plug has 200 more customers.
Right.
That increases, like you increase the value of the plug. Or if you buy a piece of a Ferrari on Rally, you can't drive the Ferrari, but if you buy a piece of a sports team or music and then you loop it on Spotify, you're increasing the royalties of the music, and like you have a direct impact on the growth of the asset, and that's what we're excited about.
Or when you guys get big enough and you sell a portion of equity, and you have viewers that automatically are going to view everything you post, and, you know, ad revenue and all that.
One day.
Manifesting.
Seriously. So now that you guys have your product, you're confident in your product, this is your full time, what was the biggest challenge to get to where you are right now?
Yeah, I think it kind of starts where like we have similar backgrounds. We both studied finance. We both worked at Goldman and did finance for our jobs.
We can't get rid of each other. Penn to Goldman.
Yeah, that's like
we live together now.
Yeah.
But we
in close quarters.
Yeah, right? Do you ever get sick of each other?
Oh, obviously.
It's like a lot of time.
Of course.
And they hang out together outside of...
He runs away to the Hamptons every other week.
Yeah.
I mean, not the worst idea.
Where was I going?
Biggest challenge.
Oh, yeah. But we decided to start a mobile app, which you need to code.
Yeah.
Okay.
And neither of us have a coding background, so we basically went out and when we first got the idea, we're like, okay, let's put some money together and, you know, get the app made by like a third party. It turns out that's not the best way to make an app because you have like no say over what, you know, goes into it. They kind of build it. They don't build it for scale. They build it for, you know, just, you know, surface level viewing.
Got it.
So we learned our lesson. We brought on a CTO who we love, and you know, he's been great. Shout out Nolan. But you know, I think the learnings were how much actually goes into like building an app. Like every single thing that you interact with when you interact with Facebook, like is carefully thought about and carefully, like even like you log in, like all those steps are carefully thought about. And you know, to be fair, we didn't really think. We had to think through all those at first.
I mean, understandably.
It's a good thing we gave ourselves some lead time because we figured it out. And you know, there's definitely some funny stories that have popped up as a result of it. I think, one of them is so you can basically like plug in source code that, allows you to kind of piggyback previous code and you can use in your own app. So we did that for basically being like onboarding usernames and users as far as like, community guidelines on what people are allowed to make their usernames as. So like we launched the app, we were like a week in maybe, or a week and a half in. And we got an email saying like, oh, like it's not letting me log in. It's not letting me use my username or name. And we were like, what? Like, what does this even mean? And so like, emailed CTO, jump on the phone. He's like, oh. So
he knew so quickly.
So we were screening your like all these codes have like, they don't want you to make your name like some vulgar thing for a username, but we weren't just screening for usernames. We were screening for full names. And this woman's name was blank Wang. And so it was like, Wang got flagged as like a phallic symbol.
Oh my God.
And so then we were like, oh, that's not good. This is like one of the most common last names.
Yeah. That's
and we
tough.
have to go and, try to figure out why it's in there.
Recode everything.
It was basically like the usernames we can't have as like, being those kind of things, but names can certainly be that kind of thing.
Right.
So that was just one of the funny things that popped up where it's like, oh yeah, we should have looked at this before. And now that's fixed. Anyone named with the last name Wang can join the app.
And calling all Wangs. I remember I was on a work trip, I guess, was it a little over a year now, and you guys like sent like one of the like test flights, and you gave us all a Google Doc, and I was in Tampa for work, and they do like 12-ounce pours of rosé there, and I was on my second like 12-ounce pour of rosé, like on my phone, like taking notes of like every little thing, being like, I'm such a helpful friend. And then I remember looking at the notes after like the fact the next morning, being like, those make no sense. So at least I tried.
So helpful. It's so helpful.
So I want to talk a little more about you guys being friends and co-founders. What was it like? Like, you guys both worked at Goldman, but like you were in LA, you were in New York. It's not like you were working together in this capacity. This is very, very different. Like, I talk to Emmy more than I talk to my own mother, my roommate, anyone.
Yeah.
Like, just constant communication.
Always.
I will say Emmy and I have very separate social lives, and like obviously we're very close friends, but like due to this, not like outside of work necessarily. I mean, like we are friends outside work, but different. Just
like a super glorified coworker.
Just grading.
Like a work friend, but like different.
Exactly. So you guys are not that. You guys are friends.
You guys were friends before you were
friends
at the start.
Partners.
Founders second.
Do you fight?
Yeah, of course. But initially, so I said earlier, like I always wanted to be an entrepreneur or founder. That's like a nice way of saying that I had a bunch of shitty ideas in college that I was like very excited about.
Don't say that.
I could usually get like 5 or 10 people like, oh,
terrible.
That's kind of a good idea.
Right.
But McGeagh was always the one to be like, that's a dumb idea.
Yeah. Oh, always. That's about like McGeagh with anything. He's like,
and
hey,
so,
tell the truth.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually I was just like, I'm just going to go straight to McGeagh with all of my ideas. And I had like the inkling for what would become ALAO. And I went to him. He was like, this has some legs. And then we started running on it. But to answer your question, we fight all the time. We're both pretty good at like, we fight about dumb stuff all the time. We rarely fight about like big picture vision. It's like, do you add a period at the end of this bullet point? Or
yeah, that's the type of stuff.
I mean, and I feel like ours is like, I kind of think we should keep that.
Yeah.
And it's like literally about a comma. Yeah. We're like,
I'm like, so we still want to keep that comma there? But then I look back, I'm like, what am I talking about?
Yeah. But
I think like one big difference is like, you have your friends, like when you're with your friends, like, it's kind of like you're carefree, you know, you kind of like do what you want. Like there's no like accountability kind of thing. But now like we're partners, like we're in this together. Like I feel like accountable to them, which is good and bad. Where it's like, it's good in the sense that I feel like it builds a better product for the business because, we're working hard in the same direction, but it's bad when it, kind of flows into the friendship part. And it's like, and it kind of like, changes a little bit of the dynamics. But, I think we've worked it out.
Yeah.
Like I want all my friends to succeed, but I need McGeagh to succeed.
It's so true. It's so true.
Like, I want all of you guys to do well, but like McGeagh's like, whoa, what are you doing?
It's a good one. I think you just said something interesting about like the accountability aspect, which is something Emmy and I talk about all the time.
Okay.
It's like, you know, I had this idea, but I don't know that I would have ever done anything with it.
Oh, if I was doing this by myself, it would have fallen short a year ago.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have, like, I don't know that I would have even started the Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, the second you have someone to kind of, like, back you up, like,
Totally.
it's, you know, and they'll tell you the truth and they'll keep you accountable, that's when stuff starts moving and happening. And then you just, like, can't look back. I also want to go back to, you were saying, like, when you're with your friends, you're just carefree, you're blowing off steam. But I think we probably all have this in common, which is, like, for me, this, like, is my life. And when people ask, like, what's up, it's like, this is all I have to talk about.
Yeah.
And
I'm just like, oh, you know, a lot.
but then it's like, okay, am I that person that's, like, talking about work all the time? And, like, I'm sure they're so fucking sick of hearing about it. So it's like, how do you guys feel like you balance that? Because I do feel like, I will say, being in social settings with you guys, you're not always talking about it. Because I'm sure you don't always want to be talking about it. It's like, you want to blow off steam.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think part of it is just, you know, tired.
Yeah, literally.
like, you know, we get asked so much, and I love talking about it to new people, and I love, like, you know, explaining the vision, and people are usually excited about it. But people that, you know, are around with all the time, they've heard it.
Yeah,
and
they
I
know the
think,
shtick.
you know, they don't need to hear it again.
Yeah.
Like, unless there's some, like, you know, real big change in what we're thinking of for the business. I think, you know, it's more just like, they know what we're up to. They know what we're going for. Like, they'll obviously ask for updates, and they'll ask for, you know, how's it going? What's your plan? Like, you know, fundraising, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, you know, as far as explaining what ALAO is and going through those questions, I think they've heard it.
Yeah, they don't need to know exactly what you did that day.
And, like, the small things that are, like, on my mind about ALAO all the time is, like, user growth. How do we get more users? How many users do we need to do XYZ? Like, and that's not fun for anybody to hear.
Yeah.
It's not fun for me. Like, with it rattling around my head. So, I try to do a decent job at that, but it's really hard, and it's hard. Like, with my girlfriend, who's also a good friend of Riley's, you know, she's, like, always like, oh, what's up? And, like, it's a delicate balance of, like, sharing, you know, what's on my mind and what's, like, got me stressed or XYZ. But it's also, like, it doesn't help me a lot to just share it out loud. Like, it's not, it's still going to be running around my head, whether or not I say it now or don't say it. And, like, I'd rather not think about it and, like, just hang out. But, like, you have to balance because you don't want to, like, block anybody out.
Mm-hmm. So true. I think, like, another fear when sharing is, like, that people will offer their 2 cents when you don't necessarily need it, like, from, like, a business perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, I appreciate people having input, but a lot of the time it's like, you don't think I've thought of that.
Yeah.
That's all I think about.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about just, like, what we consume in general. Learn a little more about your guys' like social media consumption habits. I know, Sweeney, you post quite frequently on TikTok. You're working on your growth. Everyone go follow Peter Sweeney on TikTok. But in general, as consumers, we obviously like ingest like 1 million seconds of video.
So much.
Every single day. So this is a question that I'm currently obsessed with, which is, if you time traveled to 1620 and your one mission was to show a pilgrim your favorite viral video, what viral video would that be?
You gotta go because I need a minute to think.
I don't know. It's certainly not my favorite viral videos, but I think one where I just like to see reactions of people, and like sometimes I'll just say stuff just to say stuff and see how people react.
Yeah,
which is
I know that about
kind of fun, kind of demonistic sometimes.
Just quick side note. One time I was wearing biker shorts, and Matt has like a whole thing against biker shorts.
Do you?
And he goes on this rant like, no one looks good in biker shorts. It's not anything against you. And I'm like, can you just wait?
Sounds like my mom. My mom also hates biker shorts.
Like, can we just wait until I'm not wearing biker shorts to have this conversation?
Yeah. They're so easy.
No, they're definitely easy, and I understand they're comfortable.
Yeah, they're convenient.
Like, I just hate them.
I just don't like them. But I think I would show a pilgrim like just a stream of the pimple popper viral videos. Just so
okay, valid.
I could see them be like, "What the?"
How do you feel about backcracking videos?
Yeah,
Love.
It's just I just feel like it's similar vein, but it's like this is what people are. millions of times.
Yeah,
But also, like,
the track record video is almost more understandable.
Yeah.
The Pimple one is like, this is kind of gross,
I
but
feel
I'm
like
very
they're probably
intrigued.
no. I feel like the Pilgrims were familiar with pimple popping.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I don't think they would like think that's witchcraft.
Maybe they had beautiful skin.
Who knows? Who knows?
Right, they're just like, we just got off a boat. Like, you guys are watching.
We're like fighting for our lives, and you guys are,
This person's making $10,000 a post to pop pimples. Like,
if not more.
yeah.
Peter.
I'm a big music video fan,
Okay.
so I'd probably show him Potato Salad by Tyler, the Creator, and A$AP Rocky. It's the music video there in Paris.
Okay.
I think Pilgrims would probably have a
They would
fun
enjoy.
reaction to that as well. But yeah, there's not too many times to watch that video, so I'd be able to watch it again with them.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
never
we should
seen
pull
it
it
either.
up.
I flew right over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put
We'll
it
link it.
We'll link it.
I know.
We'll link
I
it.
have to watch it.
I'm not like super familiar with Tyler the Creator music,
Yeah,
Either.
but Emmy, do you have one?
he ebbs and flows.
I need to like think.
Mine.
Yours were really good.
Allie actually gave me this one because it's our favorite video. It's like me dancing in my dream to my alarm clock, and it's like someone,
Okay,
like,
those
with
are
their
funny.
comforter over them, like shaking their butt, and like I feel like Pilgrims would be like, "What's an alarm clock? You have something that wakes you up. You don't wake up with the sun." Like,
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's
one.
a good yeah,
Yeah.
Do you want to think a little more?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll
My
come
next
back in like a minute.
This is like purely hypothetical. If you could marry one creator, who would it be? And I definitely know what Emmy's was going to be.
Do you? Oh my god.
It doesn't have to be like, it can be girl, boy,
Yeah, I'm
man,
not.
woman.
The creator, it depends how you define creator. And we have this argument like, what's a creator? So, like, I'm going to
What's a creator?
I'm going to venture into like the celebrity crush kind
Okay.
of category.
Wait, but
for
first,
that.
what's a create? What's
your definition?
I think it's just anyone who creates content that
Yeah.
that you can consume, and that can be like an athlete, that can be an actor, that can be the
That's our whole
TikTok,
spiel.
the TikTok,
Yeah.
influencer.
Okay, so what's your argument?
No, we don't like argue. We like more
Make the argument.
define. We define
To other people.
and we use
Got it.
influencer probably more frequently than creator, which is kind of like against the grain. I feel like everybody who works in the creator economy has kind of dropped the influencer term.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what's important to us is that somebody has broad influence over a lot of people. And an influencer is a
Yeah.
great way to describe that because, like Matt said, it's athletes, it's celebrities, it's content creators.
Right. Well, it's an important distinction, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
anyone can
Yeah.
create content, but not everyone has
Yeah, it has
influence.
influence.
And it's the same argument that's like, your number of followers doesn't matter. It's how many people are engaging.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's been our thing the whole time too. We've had like musicians on, we've had like business
Yeah.
owners
Yeah.
on, we've had artists. Like anyone can be an influencer because they have an influence over the community, as opposed to a content creator who's strictly making content.
And there are like traditional celebrities who don't have a whole lot of influence. They're
Yes.
celebrities because they were actors or actresses, and now they're not very active on social media. And if they're in a movie, I'll go watch the movie, but I'm not like digging
Keeping
into
up with their
like, what they had
day-to-day,
for
yeah.
breakfast yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
But back to the point.
But back to who you're marrying.
My celebrity crush is Anna de Armas. I just really like
Okay.
her.
I just did a video about her. She's getting a lot of backlash for her new movie. Did you watch it?
I'll get her back. Don't worry.
You'll get her back.
Yeah.
Did you watch her new movie?
I don't think so.
Blonde. She plays Marilyn
Really?
Monroe.
Oh, no, I haven't yet, but I want to see that.
Yeah.
Wait, that's such a rogue choice.
It got really
Yeah.
bad reviews.
Why do you think that's rogue?
I don't know, because I had to even Google her for a sec.
Did you
didn't know?
really?
Yeah,
Oh.
She's a hottie for sure.
she's definitely cute.
Okay, mine is one of the sandwich guys, like one of the guys that makes sandwiches on TikTok,
Oh.
like Owen Hahn or like Salt Hank. If like one of them could be my husband and make me a sandwich every day, that would be my dream come true. So that's
a good one.
mine. Or I mean, obviously, like I'm obsessed with. This isn't obvious. I don't know why I said obviously. I'm obsessed with Drew Starkey from Outer Banks. And he was just in this movie called Hellraiser. And the girl in the movie's name is Riley.
Ooh,
And like when I say I was
He understands it.
yeah, like he's been thinking about me. So like when I say I was bright red watching this whole movie, like Allie was literally like, get a grip.
you're like, but her name is Riley.
But like he wants to date me.
That's funny.
I would do either the D'Amelios or Josh because they could be very helpful to ALAO.
Thinking really long term
Yeah,
business
really
He
angle.
wants a marriage of not convenience.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
of
Or
advantage.
Addison Rae's mom because that guy
Sure.
seemed to get a lot of heat when
Young Gravy.
we could go viral off that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking business aspect.
Yeah.
Or Fibula if we're just doing like, I'd like
They'd
to
be
like just spend
entertaining.
the day
Like,
for
shoot the shit with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that who you'd spend the day with? You could choose
That
that.
dude's at Waterfront all
Probably.
the time.
Yeah, we've met him at Waterfront.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like a totally normal guy.
I mean, he's
like,
everywhere. He's at Parker House, like making out with people.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
in Sun
Love.
Valley
He's a
making out with people.
Yeah, I feel like he is everywhere.
Fibula's everywhere I
Him and
turn.
Tyler Cameron should hang out at. I think Tyler does that too.
Yeah. Tyler
Yeah.
Cameron is also everywhere.
I saw him in Montauk a bunch.
he does it like harder club.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more like
Fibula's
tables.
more
Fibula's
like, oh, let me get a beer.
yeah, exactly. All right, who you marrying?
Wait, I want to know who the person you think it was.
I'm not saying until you say.
Was it Paige?
Yeah.
Paige Lorenz.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Good
just
choice.
her aesthetic. Goals.
Yeah.
Love it.
Horse girls. You like horse girls?
Yeah, I mean, I can't ride a horse, but like,
But we like
The
the
idea.
The aesthetic's
I like the idea.
there.
Yeah.
yeah.
We recently rode horses together.
Yeah,
You
we
guys did. Matt was good.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I ride horses.
I think the last time I rode a horse was like Girl Scouts in 5th grade. Might have been 2nd grade.
I'm like really allergic to horses, and my
Yeah.
girlfriend likes them. And I
Serena's
told her
a big horse girl.
that before I went, like I was going with her family to ride
I feel
horses.
like I might.
and I was like,
not
I'm
be
very allergic to horses. And she's like, no, you're not. Like, you're not allergic to anything.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like how I feel when
you're
people say
fine.
they're
I'm
allergic
like,
to
no,
cats.
I'm allergic to horses. And then we get on. She totally discounted me. Like, there's no way you're allergic to horses. We get on. We're riding for like 25 minutes. And she turns to me. My eyes are like bloodshot. And I like snotting everywhere. She's like, oh my God. And then she's like, feels so bad. And I'm like, just listen. Like, when I was like, I'm allergic.
I'm
Like,
not a
let's get
liar.
some,
I'm
like,
just
Dramamine or something
I tell people
before we get
they're
on.
liars when they say they're allergic to cats.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
I think
allergic
people
to
just
cats,
don't
too.
like cats.
Yeah,
I'm like, no,
not
you
a
just
huge
don't like
cat
them.
fan.
But
I'm not allergic to
But
your
I don't
cat.
think I'm a cat. I think I'm not a cat fan because I'm allergic.
true.
Right.
You have a cat?
I do.
Interesting.
He's a miracle cat.
Nice.
I looked up the other day. Guess
You got lost for a few months.
Her cat ran away for like 2 months.
3.
Oh my God.
3 months, and people were like, you tell us.
I kept my cat accidentally got out right before Thanksgiving. I went home. My mom was like, "I have to tell you something." Like, cat got out, and I was like, "All right, he's done this before. He'll be back in a few days." 3 months had passed. He was not back, and I kept posting about him. Like, Boots is gone, and everyone kept like talking behind my back. Like, someone needs to tell her that cat's not coming back. My family was in Florida. Someone posted in like a town Facebook group a few times over and was like, "I found this gray and white cat in my basement." Everyone's tagging me. Long story short, it was my cat.
Wow.
Oh my
So
God.
he crossed 2 bridges. He like clawed into someone's basement, I guess because he was cold. He doesn't really meow, so he might have been down there a while.
Oh,
But he's
wow.
back.
And what's his name? Is Boots?
Yes.
He's living up to his name.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's home. He had 3 months on the
Shrek.
streets, but he's back.
Nice.
I know, it's a good story.
Yeah, I think it's just funny that people like saw him around. Like there were like Boots' whereabouts were like very
People were
elusive.
looking for this cat.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, the whole town.
Like the elusive Boots returned.
Everybody.
So if you were to get arrested tomorrow, what would it be for? And it's not like what would you hypothetically do. I want like to know something you did in your past that could maybe get you arrested. Like we're not talking hypothetically. Fine, it can be hypothetical.
but-
I don't want us to get in trouble.
Following up from that cat on the local Facebook group. I don't know if you guys are on Nextdoor,
Just
but
ignore
it's
me.
like that hyper localized
Yes,
like
yeah.
Facebook, and it's all Karens just complaining
Really?
about
Yeah.
like random
Sounds
stuff.
alright.
And while I was like building up ALAO's content arm, I was like doing all this research, and for some companies, Nextdoor is great. Like if you're like a coffee shop, or
Like a
Yeah.
local business, yeah.
really local. And so I like got on it, and we like sold a table on it, and then I just recognized that it's like all these people just complaining, and so sometimes I like to go on and just provoke.
Read, yeah.
No, like
you
I
comment?
like engage.
Oh, you get in there?
Yeah. And I'm like, there are like 100 rats in like Sheridan Square, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. When are they going to do something about
It's a really
this?
good use of
The
your
city
time.
has gone to shit.
Yeah.
Wait, it's for like I kind of always think about it like in like suburban areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking city. I was thinking like mom's mad about like grass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's
You know?
usually mom's mad about grass, but in the city, it's hilarious. Like, it's like,
It's funny.
there's been a homeless person on the corner for the last 14 days. Like, when are we going to do something about this? And it's like, who
Everyone's
are
like-
you telling to do? I don't know
no
who's
one.
on here besides me.
Yeah.
I'm like running around like, this is ridiculous.
You're like,
You
yeah,
wanna
okay,
team
I'll
up?
make a call.
You want to team up?
Yeah. It's a bunch of vigilantes ready to take on the city.
That is funny.
The rat problem is ridiculous, though.
Okay, I haven't seen those.
At all.
No.
Wow.
No, you just haven't opened. You haven't looked down.
You're-
No.
They're running over
Do
your
you
feet.
wear
You don't know
contacts?
it.
No.
Yeah.
I do wear
Yeah.
contacts.
Let me get your eyes checked.
Scary.
It's like a nighttime activity.
Yeah. Well, we were eating at Anton's in
Yeah.
the West Village, like nice restaurant. But we're outside in one of those like, little cabins. and a friend of ours.
Is there a rat in it?
Well, it's worse. So, like, her seat was, like, up against, like, the back of, like, the flower box that kind of, like, created the structure.
It's a rat.
And I'm looking at her, and I just see something scurry by. And I'm like, Renee, a rat just ran across your shoulders.
That's when you don't tell her.
And she was like, well, no.
And she's not one to handle that.
And she's like, no, it didn't. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm crazy.
You're like, no, it's not me.
Like, okay, fine. Okay, maybe no. And then it happened again.
Oh my
and the
God.
girl at the table next to us was like, oh my God, a rat just ran across her shoulder. So it's like, oh my God, I'm not crazy.
Did you not feel it?
No, because it was on the actual
Thought it was like a plant.
flower pot.
Yeah.
And then it was crazy. As we tell the Anton's people, and they're like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, what? Oh my
like,
God.
And they're like,
Get
well,
on next door.
Yeah, they're like,
get someone on the phone.
exactly. Yeah. Should have written about it. Next door sounds like. Do you guys venture into Reddit at all?
Oh yeah.
It's a
It's crazy.
place.
There's a lot.
What threads are you looking at?
I'm mostly looking at like our angel investors.
Fair.
I don't get too deep into it, but
People are mean.
Well,
people are mean, but some people are really
peruse.
nice. Like,
Cowards.
Reddit was
Hiding
a
behind the
client.
screen.
Keyboard warriors, as we say. There's one. I'm not going to name the thread because I like don't want people to go looking it up. But it's like all about New York City influencers, and it is.
There's not one nice thing on there.
It is so cruel, like what people choose to pick apart about some of these influencers. And like sometimes like what their criticisms are valid, but like when they're then
It's not constructive. It's like
it's constructive.
it's not like, oh,
Like-
I would really like this content. This person should do this. Like, this could be cool. It's like going at these
She's
people.
a piece of shit, awful person. How dare
Terrible.
she?
Can't believe she
I
posts
care.
this. Look at how she looks. Look at how she acts. I'm like,
It's like, don't follow these people.
Yeah.
Like, it's freedom of like to choose
also,
to follow whoever.
all they're doing
you
at the end of
want.
the day is driving people to their
Yeah,
page.
exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for the follow.
So, right?
Exactly.
Like, now you're just helping them. People are going to go on Reddit and they're going to be like, ooh, who's that? And they're going to go click, like,
Yeah. It's like there's like 20,000 people on this.
maybe I'll
thread
talk
now.
bad about myself on there. Maybe.
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe it'll make
I mean,
relevant.
repels-
It's like
Saw-
that Under the Influence show. The hell.
We get like a million
Bitches.
views.
They're so problematic.
They'd be like, oh my God. People would be scrolling through every video to be like, why are they problematic?
Yeah. Which one was it? Which one?
There's
was
like
it?
nothing wrong there.
We're not problematic. Okay, what's your guys' pet peeve on a date? You guys aren't really single, but
My pet peeve is
McGee's got plenty.
it's just my pet peeve in general.
Bill
It's just-
McGee's got pet peeves. He's got a list.
I actually was laughing when you guys were saying you're running a little late today because that's
Oh my God, is that your pet? Okay, you guys were early.
My pet peeve
Well,
is
we-
when
I-
he texts
Let
me.
the record show they were 30 minutes early.
Let the record show I got here 5 minutes late, which for me
Yeah.
is beyond on time.
Yeah, Emmy and I are chronically late, which in every single one of those like things I wish I knew in my 20s videos, it's like, don't be late.
I'm
It's not
so
a cute
late.
trait.
I literally show up, I'm like, I was on Central Time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like,
that's something that
so bad.
I fight with our friends with all the time.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm late to
you know,
every single
I understand
But
there's
McGee
some things
thinks-
you can't control in your, getting there, but
Mhm.
like timing is usually one of the things you can't control.
I'm the problem. I know
No,
it.
Oh, I know I'm
I'm,
the problem,
I'm
too.
not a very on time person
I'm not
either,
at all.
but I'm
Yeah,
like very
that causes
sympathetic to
issues.
people who aren't on
Yeah.
time because I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I don't care.
Like, yeah, it's like,
Well, that's
whatever.
the thing.
McGee's like, you don't care about me.
Yeah. It's like Ashley, too.
My roommate's
I have to
really
cut
late
that
too,
out.
so us together is like
Oh, yeah.
not good.
Oh, yeah, me and
That's
Allie.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
wow.
yeah.
We show up in our
Peter's
one
it's
friend.
fine.
Late, she's very late.
Our one friend,
Yeah.
Jane. This
I
is
was on
you.
time to the boat.
Yeah, sure.
I get a really, and I'm like, Jane, relax. Like she gets up and she's like, really, and we're like, both of us, me and my roommate, are just like, sorry, like we're here now. You were at the bar enjoying yourself by yourself for an hour.
Truly, though, a lot of the time, it is stuff I can't control.
Can or can't?
Can't. Okay, wait.
What's yours?
What are your biggest pet peeves?
My pet peeve. I don't have any like good funny pet peeves, but a pet peeve for somebody who's probably on a date with me. I have like the world's smallest bladder, like
Yeah.
constantly peeing,
Yeah.
and that's got to not be fun for the first date.
Sometimes
You're like, hey, like,
Someone probably like thinks it's like something
You guys
personal.
don't
They're like, oh my God, they
No,
don't like hanging out with me.
yeah.
They want to
They
leave.
think
Yeah.
I'm like texting on the phone
Yeah.
in the bathroom, but I'm really like, okay, the entree's about to get here. I should go to the bathroom before it
It's,
gets
like,
here, so I don't need to
strategic.
get
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
yours? On a
Um,
date or in general? Whichever one's more fun. I guess it's the same.
I mean, in general, like, on a date as well, like when people are on their phones, like during a conversation, like that's a pretty obvious one. But like outside of a date, like I hate when people talk on the phone in public places. And I wish it didn't bother me.
Yeah, that's a hard one to have bother you.
Yeah, well, it's one that my
There's a difference between talking on the phone and like being obnoxious on the phone.
Yeah.
Totally.
Granted, I do
and
both.
like being
Like-
in a restaurant versus being on the street.
Yeah, like
totally
if you're
different.
sitting in a nail salon, and I think that's
Yeah.
a general thing for like talking loud in places. Like even if I'm like in a nail salon with a friend, like I try to talk softly to my friend because it's like the whole nail salon doesn't care about my conversation. Like they don't care about who I'm going to formal with, and because obviously I haven't gotten my nails done since college, clearly, because that's what I'm thinking about. But I'm literally thinking about like me and my girlfriend sitting in the nail salon, like taking over the entire nail salon, talking about our formal dates, and like that's got to be annoying for people sitting around.
Or like the
us.
plane I was on last week.
The plane
woman
too.
was on the phone. Literally, we were going to take off. The flight attendant was like, "You need to get off the phone," and she was like screaming next to me. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't do this right now." That bothered
Planes
me.
too. People, that's one. Oh my god.
Getting
Like-
slow off planes.
No. Like when you're sitting next to someone on a plane and they're like clearly sitting with their friends and they talk the whole fucking flight.
Yeah.
It's like, like obviously people are trying to sleep, especially when it's like an early night or early morning, late night. It's like obviously people are trying to sleep on that plane, and I don't need to hear about like what you're up to with your boyfriend and why your ex is texting you, like XYZ. And if I can still hear you with like my headphones and my earplugs in, then like
Figure it out.
shut the fuck up. So yeah, that's a pet peeve as well. Okay, if you were to get arrested tomorrow, what would it be for? And it's like something you've done in your past, not.
Yeah. I mean, mine's
Hypothetical.
like basically just like being kind of a bull in a china shop. But
Me
there's
as well.
there's this thing called Halloween Horror Nights in Los Angeles. It's at Universal Studios,
Okay.
and it's like a big thing
Where's
to go
this
to.
going?
Yeah. Trust me, it's a
You
big thing.
took the assignment a little too seriously, and
you'll go like once a year to like with your high school like group of friends.
I went to
Like,
the one at Six Flags.
go like have some drinks and have fun and run around. I lost my phone there, and I was
yard
like,
sale off the bat.
yeah, I was looking at, I grabbed my friend's phone, was find my iPhone on my phone,
That's
and
the
like
worst
saw
feeling.
it was like across the park, and like I knew like we were leaving soon, so I was like sprinting across the park. Clown comes out, tries to scare me,
oh no,
and I just bulldozed, and I got put behind bars.
No!
Yeah,
That was such an accident.
I got detained.
oh my god,
For like assault.
hitting. Oh my god.
And it was like,
We're, like,
obviously
ramming
it was
into
a
a cloud.
communication and misunderstanding. But like I was behind bars, no phone,
Oh my
and
god.
I had to like
You have
I had one friend whose number I had memorized, and he was with us, and I called him.
Which
and
friend?
He got me out, my friend Mac, and it was like, oh my God, thank God.
Oh my god, I don't think I have anyone's number memorized. If I like need to,
I still have it memorized.
I probably should.
I had like my middle school friends and my parents, but like
Just my parents.
nothing passed.
But like if I ended up in jail at like 2 a.m., there's no way my mom's waking up to that call. Like
Also, I'm
absolutely
not calling we can solve this problem.
Well,
Like,
I
if
would
I
love
ran
to.
over a clown, I'm like, we can solve this problem
Yeah.
without me calling my mom.
Now at like
Yeah.
26, I think I'd maybe call my mom in high school. I would figure out. This
Yeah.
I would
Exactly.
be figuring that out.
Exactly. Remember that girl at Penn that like was running from someone at one of those haunted house things, and she ran into a wall, and she like fucked up her forehead,
Ow.
broke her ankle, and I had a class with her, and the next day she like rolled into class with like a bloody
Oh my
forehead
God.
and
Oh
a
my
broken
God.
ankle, and I was like, oh my god, that is not worth it. It was at the like penitentiary,
Yeah.
the state
That one
penitentiary.
was supposed to be scary.
Yeah, I mean, I would
I
never.
never went.
Not my jam. Not my jam. All right, what do you go to jail for?
Oh, have you been on Nextdoor? It's like this.
Talked about it.
So have
Do
you
you want
invested
a
in
different?
this?
You want a different answer? What would I go to jail for? Probably just plastering ALAO stickers almost everywhere I
Yeah.
go.
All the graffiti action.
Yeah,
We need to order more.
Yeah, we do.
they go a lot further than you think they do.
Yeah.
At first, I was
More
like, I need
expensive than you
500,
think.
and then I was like, I've been traveling. We were in LA. I shipped like of the 500, 400 of them were like in my bag on the way back from
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
You hear-
But sometimes they do work. Like I'll get a random picture of a bathroom at Bungalow, and someone's
Yeah.
they're like, dude,
Yeah.
why is
We
Do you
have
have
one-
QR codes
why is
on
this
yours?
on the mirror?
No,
I just thought of that.
We're
I
thinking
know.
far
We should
enough
do
ahead.
We need to now.
We have them on the. We
No.
ordered ones for colleges and sent them to like different people we know at colleges.
Mm.
We have them on those ones. but our first ones we weren't thinking ahead enough.
We were just spraying and praying.
Yeah, but we've got one on the waterfront bathroom and one on the bungalow bathroom, and those ones do amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you have to focus on bathrooms.
Okay, noted.
Yeah.
Noted.
We'll make a list.
I got a picture of one like in a random bodega. That was a fun one.
Hey.
Yeah, that's fun.
What are you going to jail for?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like getting like until like it would be like something like going out related.
You like get in a fight.
Get in a fight with a bouncer, like something like that, or like
Yeah.
an Uber driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got in a really bad fight with an Uber driver.
They're so mean
Peter was
sometimes,
there.
and then I don't know why.
Yeah. Peter was literally, or no, was it you or Swenson that was there?
Well, how long ago was it?
It was sophomore year after duos. I was dressed up as Beyonce.
I don't know. It
No, you
easily
might
could have
not
been
have
me.
An
But,
Uber driver called the police one time on me, kicked us out of the car,
wow.
and called the cops.
We'll see how much of this.
What Uber drivers
What
are
were
you
you
guys
doing?
In my
getting?
small 1 square
What
mile
were you
town, the
doing?
cops pulled up and were like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "This guy just like had a meltdown and like called the cops." The cop was like, "Okay, like please disperse." Because I was like, "Oh, like I said my name," and he was like, "Oh, I was just like talking to your brother," and I was like, "Why?" Like I was supposed to be watching my little brother, but it was fine.
Okay. If you had to give one piece of advice to like college you or a college kid today who is nervous about graduating and, you know, feels like they have no idea what they're doing with their life, what would you tell them?
We actually did. We spoke in front of the like Warden PEVC club, and this question actually came up. It was more like, what would you do during college differently than what you know advice you give for someone?
What would you have done
college?
during college differently?
I mean, my answer for that was like, you know, I was in Warden, like everything is so finance focused, and like to the point I made earlier about his dyslexia of neurodiversity. It's like people are putting a premium on people who think differently than others. So like taking like history classes or psychology classes, giving you like, you know, a broader point of view to kind of tackle problems. That's probably something I would have taken more advantage of than taking Zulu as my language.
Take an acting class.
Yeah.
Marijuana.
Did you take an acting class, Sweetie?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Acting 101.
Same.
Theater was my
Public
minor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fun fact.
Mine was cinema studies.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. I feel like you always had like good like movie ideas.
Yeah. Well, Rob, our friend Rob,
Yeah.
he's really chasing that dream and crushing it.
Yeah.
But I look on with jealousy every once in a while.
Yeah. Well,
that was mostly when I was at Goldman. Then I was really
yeah,
like, wow,
and he's
this
like
is epic. Yeah.
he's like jet setting with the what is it, the Fast and Furious movies? Yeah, he's crushing it. For context, too, our friend Rob, and this is such a good like follow your dreams moment. He wrote like a screenplay and locked us all in a room, took all our phones, and we sat down. We all had roles, and we like all had a drink with us. It was like one of the most like fun memories I have from college because it was so random. And we like read we did a table read for like a pilot episode of this show that he and our friend Emma had written together over the summer.
Oh my god.
While we were locked in the room with no phones, Mac Miller died.
Oh.
Or news broke that Mac Miller died. So that was like 2 reasons I'll always remember that.
Yeah.
But how did you know he died if you didn't have your phones?
Because like
Assume after.
Yeah,
what
you get out of the room.
as someone came into the room and was like, "Guys, Mac Miller died," and we were all like, "What?"
Just trying to, you know, pick at these details that are going on.
I don't know. You were there,
The facts are not
weren't you?
The facts are not aligning.
What's yours? Advice to college student and or graduate during college, etc.
Oh, well, I mean, the classic, we literally give this to like all our interns because one of our interns right now is like frantically looking for a job. And you guys did the finance track, so you have like a little bit of a different experience with like what your senior year looked like. But I always tell people that are in media majors or just more liberal arts majors who are seeking out those jobs that take a little longer to get. There's no rush. Like, take your time, find the right role. I'm so happy that I waited as long as I did to find that first role I had out of college.
I did not wait, and it was not the move.
Yeah.
It was, I literally went in the interview, left the interview, I was like, I don't like it here, I don't want to work here. And I was like, I will accept this job.
Yeah.
And every day I was like, I hate it. Literally, finally one day, 3 months in, I was like, I asked my boss for a meeting. She was like, sure, come to my desk. I was like, no, like conference room meeting. She's like, you're quitting. I was like, yes. I go, this is a bad investment on both ends.
Yeah.
I go, I don't want to be here, and you shouldn't train me anymore. I was like, I'm done. She was like, I respect that.
Yeah.
I was like, there's a lot of math. I don't like it. And she was like, I like at the time was living with my parents. She's like, you have that luxury. Like, I was like,
take your time.
I'm out. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
2 weeks. Thanksgiving Eve was my last day.
Yeah.
I went out. I was like, I quit my job. I was so excited.
Like, I think for like college seniors, and I felt this especially so at Penn. I don't know what the experience was at other schools, but so many of our friends by fall senior year at the latest had their jobs lined up, and I had no freaking idea what I was doing.
I had no.
I knew what I wanted to do.
I don't even think I knew that.
But I really wanted to get into the PAGE program at NBC.
Oh, the 1 year thing.
Yeah. Didn't get it, and it's such a good testament to like rejection is redirection. So then I ended up in an overnight role, which like was not ideal for a lot of reasons.
But then you met me.
But I met Emmy, and it goes to show.
Overnight role.
Yeah, our nocturnal.
I know it's not that bad. It sounds worse than it is. But
Yeah,
my advice would be like, this is the most generic / like doesn't seem as good. Like I would have like chilled out.
Yeah,
there was no point in stressing. Like I had a part-time job, and I was like, I need a job, like all through college. I was like, I need internship, I need this, I need that. And it's like, it's fine. Like, because now
out.
I think I mean, like we said before, finance is a bit different. But at my job, like when we're hiring people looking at resumes are like me. I'm like, shit. Like, it's so funny. Like our intern last night, we were on the phone with her, and I was like, she was stressing out about getting a job, and I was like, we both were like, it's fine. Like even her own parents were like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So if you have the luxury of like relaxing or doing a part-time job, like take full advantage of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth.
She's also graduating early, which you would never catch me doing.
Oh, I was lucky I graduated on time.
Yeah.
I was behind on.
Yeah, like, would have loved an extra
My senior year, I think I had like 7 classes. I was like, I gotta get this done.
Victory lab.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, don't stress about it. And if you're thinking about starting something, just do it. Look at us. Look at ALAO. Can you tell everyone how to sign up for ALAO?
Yeah, so it's in both the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. We have to fix this, but on the iOS store, it's just ALAO. On the Google Play Store, it's ALAO Invest. We'll hopefully fix that by the time this is airing. But you can also.
But if one doesn't work, try both.
Yeah, exactly. You can also find us on mine, ALAOinvest.com, TikTok, ALAO_invest, Instagram, ALAO_invest, Twitter. We'll link them all below, but please sign up, check out the app, check out the plug, and reach out if you have any sort of comments, suggestions, questions. We're more than happy to chat with anyone, and we're the ones looking at the Instagram DMs and everything. I think my phone number and email address is on the website, so anything at all, we're always excited to talk to people.
Thank you so much for coming on our
thanks for
show.
having us.
This was so much fun, just like hanging out. And thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Under the Influence. Like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube, our Spotify, leave reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, and make sure to check out one of our other shows or all of our other shows.
Yeah.
Better yet, I'll list them. Our other shows being Popcast, Music Notes by Emmy, Hot Girl Talks, Yeah But Who Cares, and Okay Stop Whining, I Love Your Fit as well.
Yeah.
All of those, mouthful. And we'll see you guys next time.
Awesome. Thank you.